To do an I-cord bind off, the first thing you're going to do is cast on some stitches. So this one is going to be a 3-stitch I-cord bind off. So I'm going to use the knitted cast on to cast on 3 stitches. So I'm casting those on to my left needle where I'm going to start my bind off. Okay, so I have my 3 stitches cast on. And now I'm going to knit 2 stitches. And then these 2 are going to be knit 2 together through the back loop. And that's what's going to attach the I-cord to your body. So that's 1 stitch bound off. Now I'm going to slip those 3 stitches back onto my left needle. And you can see in the back here, my yarn is on the other side of the stitches, and I'm just going to start knitting again, just like you do with an I-cord. This is just like an I-cord, you're just binding off stitches. So I'm going to knit 2 stitches and then knit 2 together through the back loop. And now I'm going to slip these 3 stitches back again, and I'm just going to continue to do this until I have finished binding off. And like you can see, I'm reducing 1 stitch every time. I just want to show you what this looks like on the back. So 1 more time. Okay, so you can see on the back here, it's a little bit loose, not too loose. Whatever looseness you see when you block it out and stretch it, it will be nice and loose. So that is your I-cord bind off, just a plain stockinette stitch I-cord bind off. So I finished my bind off, and this was in the round, so I still need to close up this little area here to make it look like it's unbroken. So I bound off my 3 stitches that I used for the I-cord bind off, and my yarn is now on a blunt tapestry needle. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring my needle through this nice looking stitch here from back to front. This one's a little bit stretched out, so I'm not using that one. I want this to look really good. So I've come out the middle of this stitch, going to go over to the other side here, and I want to cover this up because I don't like the way that looks. So I'm going to grab these 2 legs of the stitch and bring my needle through. And I'm keeping this really loose because it's much easier to tighten it up later than it is to loosen it up. Back to the other edge here, and my needle's going to go right back through where I came before, and I'm going to grab 2 legs. So this is basically grafting, but you have actually bound off over here, so you don't have any live stitches to worry about. Then I'm going to come back to the other side, and you can see where my yarn came out on the other side. My needle is going to go back in there and grab 2 legs. And again, I'm not going to pull this very tight. Now I'm going to go back to the other side here. My needle's going to go right back in where I came out before, and I'm going to grab 2 legs again. And then back over to the other side. This is where my yarn came out of, my needle came out of. So my needle's going to go right back in there, and I'm going to grab 2 legs. So every time I'm grabbing 2 legs, I'm basically grabbing a V. Now I'm just going to come back over here and grab that last V. And I think I'm losing little pieces of my flex here, my tweeds. Okay, so now just going to start straightening it up a little bit and tightening it. Again, I want to keep it loose until I have it exactly how I want it. I want it to look the same gauge. So if you have little pieces of yarn in there that you don't like the look of, you can just sew those in. Just sew it in the way that you would like it. And almost done. It's pretty much tightened up as much as I would like. And now I have a nice unbroken line here. Just a little bit of a glob on the inside here, but that's really easy to sew in.